They say Lagos never sleeps, but the truth is Lagos only rests one eye at a time. On the streets of Mushin, where horns argued louder than people and the sun-punished roofs made of rusted zinc, a boy named Kelvin learned early that dreams had to be carried on tired legs. Kelvin was 13 when his father died. No long sickness. No final speech. Just one morning when the man who used to return home smelling of engine oil did not return at all. His mother, Fatima, folded her grief into silence. She had 3 children to feed and no time to cry loudly. Kelvin watched her grow thinner as days passed, watched her eyes become older than her face. Every afternoon after school, while other boys chased shadows or played video games in viewing centers, Kelvin hugged pure water. He balanced the cooler on his head, his neck stiff, his feet burning against the tarred road. Pure water. Cold pure water. The words became his song. Sometimes people bought. Sometimes they insulted him. Sometimes they pretended not to see him at all. At night, he washed his uniform carefully so it would last another week. His younger sister, Gloria, only 10, would help him rinse. Jason, 8, slept early, dreaming of things Kelvin could not yet afford to imagine. Fatima appreciated everything her son did. She told him often, "My son, you have the heart of a man already," she would say, touching his hair. But heart alone does not feed a family. She wanted him to learn a trade. "No money for university," she said one evening. "School is good, yes, but learn something with your hands. Life is wicked." Kelvin listened respectfully, but his eyes were somewhere else. "Mama," he said quietly, "I will play football in Europe. I will become a multimillionaire in dollars. I will give you the life you deserve." Fatima laughed, not mockingly, but with the tired laughter of a woman who had seen hope fail before. "Dream, my son," she said. "But don't let the dream make you hungry." What she did not know was that football was the only place Kelvin never felt hungry. On dusty fields marked with sleepers for goalposts, Kelvin became something else entirely. They organized local street tournaments during festive seasons, Easter, Salah, Christmas. Teams named after phone brands and betting companies gathered. Crowds formed. Small money exchanged hands. Kelvin dominated every one of them. He scored goals the way some boys breathe. Left foot, right foot, outside the boot. He assisted teammates with passes that cut through bodies like a blade through cloth. For his age, he was unreal. He could dribble past 3 players at once, sometimes 4, leaving adults grabbing air and shouting curses behind him. He played with grown men twice his size and made them look slow, confused, embarrassed. Soon they stopped calling him Kelvin. They called him Okocha. Like the Nigerian legend, he played with joy, swagger, madness. The name stuck. Fatima supported him, washing his kits, praying silently before matches. But she never stopped reminding him. "Football can break the heart," she said. Learn something else. So Kelvin obeyed. At 15, he began working at Ladipo Market, selling motor spare parts for a popular Igbo merchant named Mr. Namdi. The shop smelled of grease and iron. The work was hard. But Kelvin learned fast. He understood pricing, negotiation, customer behavior. He spoke politely, smiled easily, convinced buyers to choose his boss's shop over others. Sales increased. Customers returned asking for the small boy who spoke with sense. Mr. Namdi noticed. He increased Kelvin's monthly allowance and treated him like family. Kelvin sent most of the money home. Fatima cried the day he gave her his first envelope. Despite the work, Kelvin trained football 3 to 4 days a week. Then one evening, fate cleared its throat. On his way back from training, Kelvin saw an old man by the roadside. The man's clothes hung loosely on him. His eyes were deep, ancient, like they had watched many seasons come and go. The other boys passed him by. "Go and walk," one shouted. "Lazy old man," another added. Kelvin stopped. "I'm sorry, sir," he said gently. "I only have 400 naira. I can share it." The old man began to cry. "You are the only one today," he said, voice shaking. "For this kindness, whatever you desire in life, you will achieve beyond your wildest dreams. Men will favor you without knowing why." Kelvin bought a small loaf of bread and sachet water, gave it to him, and left. He never saw the old man again. Weeks later, on a quiet Saturday, Kelvin went to the field alone. He practiced skills wildly, playing as if the ball understood him. He did not notice the black Range Rover parked nearby. A white man stepped out. "My name is Mr. Graham Norton," he said. "I'm a FIFA licensed scout. I've been watching you." The world shifted. Northampton United. U18s. England. Kelvin agreed before fear could speak. The documents were a problem. Until Mr. Namdi intervened. "I don't know why," the man said, "but something tells me to help you." Weeks later, Kelvin stood in an airport for the first time in his life. Fatima hugged him tightly. "Go and become what God designed," she whispered. Kelvin's first months in England were the hardest season of his life. The cold entered his bones in ways hunger never had. Training sessions felt endless. Coaches shouted instructions in accents he struggled to understand. Players moved the ball faster than anything he had ever seen on the streets of Lagos. Tackles were cleaner but harder, decisions quicker, mistakes punished immediately. There were nights he lay awake staring at the ceiling of the small room provided by the club, listening to rain hit the window, missing the noise of Lagos, missing hawkers, generators, even traffic insults. Sometimes he wondered if his mother had been right all along. But every morning, he remembered the old man. And he remembered the promise he made to Fatima. He stayed longer after training. Practice finishing alone. Ran sprints until his legs shook. Slowly, almost quietly, his confidence returned. The first goal came unexpectedly, a rebound tapped in with instinct rather than thought. The second came a week later. Then another. Soon, defenders began to recognize him. By mid-season, Kelvin was unstoppable. He broke the U18 goal-scoring record with matches still left to play. Newspapers wrote about the Nigerian teenager with street magic. Coaches moved him up early to the U21 squad, where the same story repeated itself. At 18, Northampton United took a gamble. He debuted late in a match they were losing. Within 20 minutes, Kelvin scored 3 goals. A hat-trick. The stadium erupted. Fans chanted his name. Commentators searched for words. History had started writing itself. Season after season, Kelvin delivered. By 21, Northampton United had climbed divisions, and Kelvin stood as the third highest goal scorer in the club's entire history. Then Manchester United came calling. The contract numbers felt unreal. Pounds replaced naira. Dreams turned into bank alerts. Yet just before his debut, disaster struck. A ligament tear. For months out. Kelvin spiraled. Despite the money, he felt empty. Football was not just his job, it was his escape. Without it, old fears returned. Sleepless nights followed. So he brought his family to England. Fatima arrived first. Then Gloria and Jason. The house filled with laughter, cooking smells, and prayers again. Healing accelerated. Doctors were surprised. Kelvin returned in half the expected time. That season, he scored 30 league goals. Best player of the year. One of the few Africans to ever do it. On a quiet evening, inside a modest mansion, a sports car resting in the driveway, Kelvin knelt beside his mother. They prayed. And somewhere in his heart, Kelvin thanked a nameless old man on a Lagos roadside. Because in African folklore, kindness is never wasted. It only waits for its time.